Hey there, hey you guys. It is Teach Me Tuesday, so I wanted to come in and teach myself on a topic that a lot of people ask me about because if you are new to live streaming and getting out there in the public atmosphere, doing live streaming or getting online, then this question comes up a lot, and that is, how do I come off as authentic without alienating or turning off my learners, right? Hey there, welcome. It's Teach Me Tuesday. So for those of you all who are new to me, I am Kat the Course Builder. Let me say that first of all. And I wanted to come in and talk about this topic on Teach Me Tuesday. As you all know probably by now, that I'm really super excited about the formula and the digital copy of the book that I and 11 other amazing women are a part of. And we are sharing our stories in there. I'm sharing my story in there. And so people ask me a lot of times about, how do you come across as authentic without giving away too much, without turning off your learners, without, making people say, TMI, all of that sort of thing, right? And, once you kind of turn off your learners with TMI, or you're not sharing quite the right things, it's really kind of hard to get them back, right? Because there are so many choices out there. People can be anywhere, just like you guys. You could be anywhere in the entire world with your eyeballs on anything in the entire world, but you have your eyeballs on me right now. And so I honor that. I honor that by trying to, show up in a way that is authentic, that honors your time that you are spending with me. And so people ask me how to do that. And so I wanted to come in and give you all a few strategies on how to, when you come on, when you live stream, when you're teaching, how to teach with authenticity. Because here's the thing, right? As someone who spent many years traveling around selling training, selling courses, I know that you only have a few seconds really to engender trust and with your audience. I know you only have a few seconds to do that. And so how do you do that so that your audience will get to know you, like you, trust you, so that they will be open to the solutions that you actually have for them, right? So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? Because I know that, most people tell you that you are supposed to be authentic and be yourself. And that is completely the truth. So why is it that some people can be really, really authentic and it turn people off, and other people it seems to be quite natural and it comes through quite well? Well, there are some things I want you to keep in mind, okay? Thanks you guys for coming in. I can't see you, but hey there. Nice to see you all. Please say something. Put something in the comments so I can see who you are, so I can say, hey, Faye, nice to see you, sweetheart. Thank you so much for coming in, baby, and thank you for saying something. So that I can see you on, okay? So we're talking today on this Teach Me Tuesday about teaching with authenticity, and how do you do that, right, without doing too much, okay? So here's tip number one, okay? When it comes to teaching live, and when I say teaching live, that is whether you, oh, thank you, Faye. Oh, awesome. Thank you for supporting, honey. Thank you so much, baby. Please leave a review after you have read the book. Please leave a review. We would certainly appreciate that. Okay, and so here is tip number one on how to teach with authenticity and yet authority, without turning off your learners. Okay, number one, don't worry about being too perfect. Hey, Peach, what's going on, lady? Thanks so much for coming in, Elaine. Thank you, baby. Don't worry about being too perfect, okay? So when you try to be super extra ultra perfect, that means your hair, oh, some little bug just flew on my screen. You gotta get out of here. Get some little fly or something just flew on my screen. Anyway, so don't worry about like bugs flying on your screen. I just had the door open and it looked like something got in. Anyway, so don't worry about having to be too perfect, okay? Because that is going to hinder you from being your authentic self. That was on purpose. I know, right? So that is going to really hinder you from being your authentic self, right? Because nobody really and truly, nobody is expecting perfection from you. The bug, I know, right? Seriously? So nobody is expecting perfection from you. They really are not. And so even though you're expecting perfection from yourself for whatever reason, I really challenge you to get past the perfection piece of it all, okay? Because that is going to keep you from showing up authentically. It's going to keep you from teaching authentically. If you are overly concerned about how you look and how you sound, and is anybody judging you and all that sort of thing. People just want to learn from you. They really want to learn from you. Now, caveat, as long as you are not doing anything that is really overly distracting, to where they are going to be distracted by what you're wearing or what you're saying or something like that, then just don't put too much effort. Don't put any effort. I would say don't put any effort into trying to be perfect. You had to do that too, Peach? Yeah. It just doesn't work, and it doesn't come across as authentic. It comes across as kind of phony. And so just be yourself. If your wig is not on straight, it just isn't on straight that day. Okay? I mean, I do my best. I try to get my wig on straight, but it doesn't happen every day. Okay? It doesn't. And so I just tell the people, hey, if it ain't on straight, can y'all please let me know? Let me know my part ain't right, and I can switch it to the left or switch it to the right. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. Nobody cares, right? Does anybody care? Nobody cares, right? So what's important is, can she share something with me that's going to help me to move forward? Can she tell me something today that is going to help me today that didn't help me yesterday, right? So we can't worry about that. And if you are prepared, then you don't really have to worry about that too much, okay? So that's number one. Don't worry about being too perfect, okay? All right. Okay, number two, we are talking about 3 ways to teach with authenticity without turning off your learners, okay? Because we can turn them off with our attitude. We can turn them off with our need to be so perfect. We can turn them off so many different ways. And so, in fact, put that in the comments for me. Is there anything that people can do online when they're teaching you that is kind of like a turn off for you? Like, what's the biggest turn off for you with people who are teaching you something and you're watching them online? Do y'all have any pet peeves that kind of bother you? Any pet peeves that bother you? So for me, I would say that number two is know your audience. Okay? Know your audience. So what do I mean by that? That means that you need to know what your audience can tolerate. Okay? The people who are coming to you for help, the people who need your help, maybe they don't like cursing. I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. Different strokes for different folks. But the thing is, know your audience. What is it that would turn your audience off? Okay, and be aware of that. Okay, so remember that as instructors, as teachers, as leaders, it is not about us and what we want to share. Hey, Nanette. It's not about us and all what we want to share. It's more about, what do our learners need from us, and how do they need it? How do they need it from us in order to receive it? So it's not just about how you want to give it, it's how they need to receive it. Okay? So I want you to think about that knowing your audience, knowing what language they speak so that you can be on the same page with them. Okay, so it's not just about showing them. I see so many things, you guys, out here, and I'm like, you have to be learner centric. You have to really think about, how does my audience, what do they want, and how do they need it? Pete says, I stopped listening to someone because too much cursing. Oh, too much cursing. Yeah, it's true, right? But for some people, it's okay, right? It's okay. And the thing is, you have to know your audience and what they can tolerate, and what is a block or a hindrance for them. So as educators, we don't want to stand in the way of people's education. We don't want to stand in the way of learning, right? So I refer to you all as course changers, right? Because you all are literally interrupting. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, baby. Thank you, love. You guys are literally interrupting the course of someone's life when they meet you. You are literally standing in the way of them going down a path that is going to cost them time, money, heartbreak, heartache, so many things it's going to cost them. And if you weren't there, if they never heard what you had to say to them, they would stay on that path to who knows what. So you are literally changing the course of many, many lives with what you are teaching. And so I encourage other leaders, other coaches to really take that responsibility seriously, because you don't know who's listening to you today, who is needing what you have, and you don't want to interrupt that sacred, honorable moment when they can actually turn their life around. That is a sacred moment. When a light bulb goes off and they say, you know what? I'm going to change course because I heard from Cheryl. I'm going to change course because of what Nanette said to me. I heard her. I'm going to change course because of what Peach said about my finances and what I should be doing with it. I'm going to change course. That's a sacred moment. And we don't want to interrupt that moment with nonsense. Something that's going to distract them, upset them, right? So we want to, take it seriously. You can be yourself. You can be your authentic self, but just know that you have to be aware of your audience's sensitivities, your audience's tolerance, and what they're coming to you for, okay? And it's not about us and all the things that we want to put out there. Okay, so Nigella, hey, sweetheart. She says, I went online with my fishing cap on today and got more meaningful interaction than a more polished day. Booked to awesome! That is amazing. Fantastic. Yay. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, honey. Congratulations. So we're talking today about 3 ways to teach with authenticity, right? So we're not going to worry about being too perfect. We're going to know our audience. And the third thing that I want to share with you guys is that you have to share your story. You have to share your story. And I know that can be a little bit disconcerting. I know for me, I grew up in a generation where you just didn't talk a lot about, things that caused you pain or things that caused you heartache. Yeah, people don't always want polish. They want authentic. They do. I find that to be so true, Cheryl. And so you have to be willing to come up off of pieces of your story. Now, let's talk about that, because A lot of times, this is what hinders a lot of people from actually getting on and talking about their story, because they say, I don't know if I feel comfortable sharing certain things about my past. I don't know if I feel comfortable about sharing certain things. And this is what I say about that. So you can choose the parts of your story that are relevant to tell. If it is going to help your audience, if it is going to help move them forward, then by all means, okay? However, the pieces that you have not yet reconciled with yourself, that you do not feel 100% comfortable with putting out there in the public atmosphere, I say wait until you do. Because otherwise, you may actually hinder or turn off your learners, your audience, with not with expressing a piece of your story that you haven't resolved yet. Okay? And then it turns into a story all about you, and it's no longer about trying to help them. Okay, it's no longer about trying to help them move forward. And so I want you to choose the parts of your story that you can authentically tell, that you can tell in a way that is instructive, without it being so painful to you that you cannot really feel comfortable sharing it with anyone. Okay, just wait until you get to that place. All right, until then, let's talk. There are other things that you can do. Okay, you can talk about the parts that you feel comfortable with. You can do that. You can also share stories, about clients or other people. Just make sure you don't use their name. You can always say, I had a client. You can always say, I had a friend. However you want to say it and talk. If you find that that example is going to truly move them forward, not you forward, move them forward, all right? You guys know that we're on a mission to teach 1 million people how to reach 1 million people. This is how you reach the masses. This is how you get folks to follow you. This is how you get people to see you as an authentic leader. You have to think about them first. You have to be concerned about whether or not they get it. That has to be your primary concern. That has to be at the forefront of everything that you do and everything that you say. How is it that what comes out of my mouth is going to help them to move forward, to reach someone who needs to change course? Hey, Deborah, I miss you, honey. Nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. So I see way too many leaders who don't ascribe to this, right? And so, and they wonder why people are, slow to pay, slow to, do the things that they're suggesting that they do, slow to want to be in their presence. These are some things that might be the case. I don't know. So those who are in my coaching programs, these are the things that we talk about. I am behind the scenes. I'm always somewhere lurking behind the scenes, watching my people online and offline, watching to see what they're doing. Lots of them, and not about. That's right, Deborah. Not about the client. And so that's one of the things that we do, because it is so important that you teach with authenticity. And authenticity doesn't mean that you're sharing all of your deepest, darkest secrets with the world. It does not. People have to earn that. Okay? People have to earn the right, to go in those deep places. Okay? You don't just put all that out there for the entire world, because everybody cannot appreciate what you are saying to them. So there are some stories that I only tell the people who come to my live events, or who come to my, small class intensive only they kind of get some of those things, right? And so the same thing with you. I don't want you to feel like you have to share all of your deep dark secrets. So here's the balance. Here's where there's this, dichotomy of thinking where you're thinking how much, hey, Angel and Brent, hey, babes. So how much do I share and how much do I not share in order to be perceived as authentic? Okay. So there are three, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on this new diet now, so I'm a little fuzzy in my head sometimes. Lord have mercy. Y'all pray for me, okay? I'm trying to get my life together. So there are three principles. That's the word I'm looking for. Good, googly moogly. There are three principles of authentic selling, of selling online, of authentic leadership, of online influence. Okay, three principles. Okay, y'all ready? One principle is congruency. Those of you all who are in my training programs, you all already know this, and y'all can put it up there on the screen. Y'all can share it if you like. But one of those principles is congruency. The other one, the second one, is consistency. Right, good, googly boogly. Number two is consistency. Number three is fluency. Okay, there are three foundational principles that if you can get these right, if you can catch hold of these principles, you will have achieved the influence that you need in order to teach to those 1 million so that they can actually pay attention to you and they will follow you and they will listen to what you have to say. Now, most people, they get one of those, maybe two, sometimes three, but most people don't get them all right. Okay. And they wonder why people won't buy from them, people won't follow them, people won't do all this other kind of thing. Okay. So let's talk about this whole idea of the congruent leader. Okay. So congruency is about the fact that people have to see and match what they see with what they hear from you. It has to connect with them. All right. And so we talk a lot about this in my groups, but the thing that you all need to remember is that people are looking to see if what they see is actually matches what you are saying out of your mouth. And so the more you can bring those two things together, the easier it's going to be for you to influence and be a leader to those folks who are following you. People have to see that you are who you say you are. And that is going to require you to have a certain level of transparency and vulnerability that a lot of us are uncomfortable with. And so I tend to address it with humor. I tend to, kind of laugh off certain things. I talk about my wig. I talk about all kind of stuff. And that's just because to me, it doesn't matter. To me, that's like the least of my concerns. That's the least of my concerns. I want you all to see by my actions that I care more about you and whether or not you get it than whether my wig is straight. That is the message I want to send to you. That it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, who cares? What you care about and what I care about is whether or not you move forward in your business and in your life. And if that's not what it's about, then what difference does it make? What difference does it make? And the same for you. So every time you're looking at your social media posts and you're looking at, hey, what do I say here? And what do I say when I come online? Take a moment, take a breath, and just say, is this really going to help my audience move forward? Is this really going to help them? And when it comes across, you won't have any problems getting people to buy from you, getting people to follow you, because they know that you are an authentic, congruent leader. Am I moving? Am I moving? I don't know. Like moving out, or like moving like moving. I don't know. Am I? I can't tell. I can't tell. Am I moving? I don't know. I don't know. So you've got 3 tips from me today about how to teach with authenticity. Okay. Don't worry about being too perfect. Nobody is into it all like that. Okay. Don't worry about being too perfect. Know your audience. Okay. Know your audience, know their language, and share your story. Don't be afraid to tell your story, the relevant parts that are going to help move them forward. Okay, don't be afraid to do that. Do it often. And that is, oh, moving. Right, Cheryl. So that is why I am sharing my story in the book, The Formula. So if you want to know more about my story and how I got started with all of this, feel free to pick up a copy of The Formula. The digital copy is available now on Amazon. I had the link. Oh man, I don't know what I did with it. Oh well, I have to put it up here after we're off, okay? But I'm telling my story there. I'd love for you all to pick up a copy of The Formula, a J Stone project, and that I was invited to be a part of, and I'm very, very proud of the outcome. So you can get the digital copy now on Amazon, okay? It just came out today. All right, so that is my Teach Me Tuesday for today. I hope this was beneficial. I hope that it helped you in some way, gave you some ideas on how you can show up authentically, teach authentically for your audience as well. Okay, I'd love to hear your feedback. When you, if you guys come on a little bit later, if you come on the replay, I'd love to hear your ideas, your feedback. If you disagree, I'd love to know that too. All right, and we can talk about it. All right. Okay, you guys, have an awesome rest of your afternoon, and I'll see you soon. Stay on course.